get piles if I sit on that. Quite a nip in the air now. Evening's drawing in too. Soon be frost tonight. Have to remember to close the old greenhouse door. Mustn't forget that. You don't mind if I have a cup of tea, do you? Bit early for you, is it? Never mind. Mrs. Charteris used to scold me something terrible if I forgot the greenhouse doors. Especially that time of an early frost one October killed off all her precious azaleas. That wasn't long after I took over as head gardener from old Jack Addis. 1936 that must have been. Last time I got a wigging from Mrs. Charteris. The year the King died, old George V. And the Prince of Wales, where he took over as head gardener, as you might say. Mind you, his heart wasn't in the job, was it? Not like mine. I've had my heart in this place since I were a lad. It went in this garden, I mean. My garden. Well, Mrs. Charteris's garden, really. It's not the same without Mrs. Charteris, though. Never could be. I often wonder if she's seen it in her mind's eye, sitting down there staring out through the big glass windows of that hotel in Torquay, staring out at the sea, a bit like I stare out through these glass panes. I bet you can see the old herbaceous border just as she loved to see it, the dahlias and petunias and Michaelmas daisies and the berries on the Cartoniaster, cotton Easter, and then tall, fine delphiniums. Always knew what she wanted, did Mrs. Charteris. Now then, Pinnegar, she would say to me, finish weeding that border and fetch some tomatoes from the greenhouse with the people dining. Oh, yes, madam, at once, tomatoes. She'll not be having her own nice fresh tomatoes from my greenhouse, though, not in Torquay she won't. Poor old soul. No. Not poor old soul, not Mrs. Charteris. I'll best remember her the first day I set eyes on her. Standing there on the platform of the village green for the annual flower show. All got up in white with a big hat. It was such a long time ago now. She'd a scrap of paper in her hand. Now we come to the wildflower competition for children under the age of 12, she said, and her voice carried lovely that summer day, despite the breeze. And the first prize goes to Master Herbert Pinnegar. Herbert Pinnegar? Has anyone seen Herbert Pinnegar? Ah! Bless me! I was half asleep outside the tent in the sun. Someone shoved me in the back. Young Joe Cally it was, from the blacksmith's cottages. That be you, he said, get on with it. So I jumped to my feet and I ran inside the tent and there was all these people clapping their hands and pushing me up onto the platform, all red in the face, and there was this fine lady all dressed in white handing me an envelope. And as I took it from her, she bent down, well, had to for I was short in those days, and I'll never forget what she said. She said, I've given you first prize, Herbert, because you picked water flowers with care, rather than grabbing the first things that came along and mixing them up anyhow. You must help me with my garden one of these days. Now run along. Well, I ran along all right. And that was the start of it, that were. Wildflowers and Mrs. Charteris. Oh, that was the start of it. That prize when I were a lad of 10. Mind you, it was Miss Bryant who first told me about wildflowers. Very clever lady, Miss Bryant. Taught the village school.